This is the iPad you should choose if you want to start making digital art in 2026. If you're shopping for an iPad right now, especially if it's your first iPad that you've ever owned, it can get really overwhelming trying to decide which one. M4, M3, nano texture glass, storage tiers, Apple Pencil compatibility, and even after some light research, you're somehow more confused than when you started. Because Apple has managed to create a lineup where almost every iPad looks like it could be the right choice, while somehow also making me feel like you're about to make a really expensive mistake. And if you're here because you want to draw, make illustrations, make coloring books, use Procreate, Affinity Designer, or maybe start a little creative business online, I think I can help. Because today we're going to cut through all the marketing and answer one simple question. Which iPad should you actually buy for digital art in 2026? And more importantly, which one should you not buy? Now, before we get started, I should probably tell you what I've been using. This video is being made by someone who still uses a 2020 iPad Pro 11-inch. It's not an M4, an M3, or even an M1 chip. This is an outdated A12Z chip. And despite all the shiny new hardware Apple releases every year, I still create illustrations, coloring books, and digital products on it every single week. So this isn't going to be one of those videos where I tell you you need the newest and most powerful model that Apple has. And I literally have nothing to unbox. This is the only thing I've ever used in the last 6 years, and it's all I still have now. So instead, we're going to be focusing on something much more important, which is of course value. Because most artists don't need the most powerful iPad, they need the right iPad. The biggest mistake I see people make is starting with the wrong question. Most people ask, what is the best iPad? But that's not actually the question that you should be asking. The better question is, what am I going to do with this thing? What are my intentions with this iPad? What do I want to make using it? Because if you're creating Hollywood movies, editing massive video projects, building 3D environments, or doing heavy professional production work, then sure, the answer might be a newer iPad with an M series chip, probably the newest M series chip. And just so we're all on the same page, an M series chip is Apple's newest generation of processor, the brains of the iPad. So generally speaking, the higher the number, the newer and more powerful the chip is. But if you're just wanting to draw illustrations, just static illustrations especially, or making coloring books, creating SVGs, designing stickers, making printable products, or learning digital art for the first time, the answer becomes very different. And truthfully, for most artists, most modern iPads are far more powerful than they actually really need. When you're shopping for an iPad for digital art, there are only a few things that actually really matter. And the first one is the screen size. Then comes the storage and the Apple Pencil support, how long you expect to keep it, and that's it. What I didn't mention were benchmark scores, GPU performance charts, or whichever chip currently has the highest number attached to it. I don't pay attention to these things, and I probably couldn't really speak intelligently about each of them, so that's probably another reason why I didn't mention them. And that brings me to a point that I think is really important for a lot of you to hear. A lot of the high-level iPad features aren't actually going to make you a better artist. What really matters is that the iPad that you choose helps you comfortably make art and comfortably run the apps that you use every day. And truthfully, most modern iPads already can do that. But now let's talk about the comparison that pretty much everybody wants to know, and that is Air versus Pro. Apple would probably really love you to buy the Pro. And don't get me wrong, the Pro is amazing. The screen is beautiful, the refresh rate is excellent, and it's a fantastic device. But here's the part that people don't always tell you. For drawing, Air versus Pro are pretty much the same. If you were handed an iPad Air and an iPad Pro and then just draw on it, you probably wouldn't be able to tell which is which. Most of them would create the exact same artwork, and both can use an Apple Pencil Pro if you still want to unlock some of its advanced drawing features with that upgraded pencil. But regardless of which iPad you choose, your coloring books won't suddenly become better because you spent another several $100s. Your illustrations won't magically improve. Your ideas won't become stronger. The Pro gives you premium features, but for most artists, it doesn't fundamentally change what you're capable of creating. And that's kind of why I think the iPad Air is kind of the sweet spot for a lot of people. You get excellent performance, great Apple Pencil support, and plenty of power. And you save a significant amount of money. Money that could go towards classes, brushes, books, or honestly just staying in your bank account. Now let's talk about what actually can affect your daily experience with your iPad. And the first one is screen size. So we're talking about the 11-inch versus the 13-inch. And unlike the Air versus Pro debate, this one can actually matter to you because you're going to notice screen size every single time you use your device. If you're mostly drawing in Procreate, the 11-inch model is fantastic. It's portable, it's lightweight, it's comfortable to hold, and truly it's what I would recommend for most beginners. But once you start using apps like Affinity Designer that has endless layers and there's lots of panels and toolbars and menus, and somehow you want to work in a reference photo, suddenly that extra screen space starts feeling really valuable. Especially now that iPad OS has become much better at multitasking and window management. Having a reference image open while you're drawing, having multiple windows visible, those are moments when the 13-inch might actually be more desirable. So if your focus is mainly drawing and illustration, the 11-inch is really great. If you're building coloring books, working in Affinity, I think the 13-inch becomes a little bit easier to justify. However, I do all that complicated stuff using my 11-inch, but that just might not be okay for everybody. I know that now using the windowed system on iPad OS 26, a lot of people say the 11-inch is just too small. For me, it's all right, but maybe one day I'll upgrade to the 13-inch. So now let's talk about storage, because I think it's one of those areas that a person can regret the most. I know that I have cheaped out and gotten the smaller storage space because it was cheaper, and I regretted it immediately. Thankfully, that was just like an iPhone 4 many years ago, but if you know, you know. And the thing about storage is that it's not something that you can change later. So when it comes to making art and using your iPad for your art business, my personal recommendation is the 256 gigabytes. It's enough room for years of artwork, lots of Procreate files, coloring book projects, reference photos, and all the random things that somehow end up on an iPad over time. Can you survive on 128 gigabytes? Absolutely. That's what I've been doing, I think. Yeah, I just use 128 and I haven't used it all yet. Anyways, but if your budget allows for it, I think 256 gigabytes is a really smart move. It's a safer long-term choice. And that's especially useful if you plan on keeping your iPad for a lot of years. Now I want to address the people that already have an iPad. Maybe it's an older Pro, maybe it's an M1, maybe it's an older A12Z just like me. So something you've had for a few years. Here's my advice. Before you upgrade, ask yourself a simple question. Is your current iPad actually stopping you from creating, or are you just feeling tempted by newer hardware? Because those are very different things. If your iPad is crashing constantly, you're struggling with your files, or generally slowing down your workflow, maybe you cracked your screen and that's the final straw, then maybe it is time. But if your iPad still runs Procreate, Affinity, and your favorite creative apps without major issues, you might be surprised how much life is left in it. I know I was. Because every year Apple releases something new. And every year I think, maybe this is finally the year I need to upgrade. Then I go back making art on my 2020 iPad Pro, and I'm reminded I actually have everything I need right here. So if I were buying today, here's where I'd land. For most people, I'd choose the iPad Air. That's the easy recommendation. If you want the best balance of value, performance, and longevity, go ahead and get the Air. If you're doing lots of coloring books, Affinity work, and multitasking, consider the 13-inch. If money isn't a concern and you simply want the best experience available, get the Pro. You'll love it. Just know that you're paying for luxury features more than creative necessity. And if you're on a tight budget, the base model iPad is still going to help you create something really beautiful. Just remember, the goal isn't to own the fanciest device. The goal is to make art. The most important thing that you should keep in mind is that most artists didn't get better because they upgraded their hardware. They got better because they kept drawing, they kept practicing, they kept showing up. So if you're trying to decide which iPad you should buy, my advice is simple. Buy what keeps you creating. Buy one that fits your budget, buy one that removes friction, and then spend the rest of your energy making something. The best iPad for artists isn't necessarily the most expensive one. It's the one that keeps them creating. If it's the one that's going to help you create more often, then that's the right choice. And if you want to know how the recent iPad OS update is going to make your drawing experience even better, go ahead and watch this video right here.